I want to focus on one program that Congress has proposed that I have questions about, and you may too. Section 24220 of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act requires NHTSA, your department, to issue a regulation that by 2026, all newly manufactured passenger vehicles can, and now I'll read from the statute, passively monitor the performance of a driver of a motor vehicle to accurately identify whether that driver may be impaired and prevent or limit motor vehicle operation if an impairment is detected.
I don't like where this is going.
Now, we're 2 years past the passage of this law, and we're 3 years away from the deadline, not just for the rule, but for the auto manufacturers to comply. How will this technology work, and does it exist presently?
First, thank you so much for the shout out about NCAP, which I agree with you about, and we have actually issued various proposed updates to NCAP to continue that opportunity for consumer choice and to incentivize the private sector to improve safety. So thank you. You may have seen that yesterday we released an ANPRM, an advance notice of proposed rulemaking about the very question that you're asking about, the particular bill provision that asks a series of questions and spells out what we know about the state of technology that could at some point meet the provisions of the bipartisan infrastructure law, along with the Vehicle Safety Act, which imposes additional requirements on us. We spelled out some possible technologies in that ANPRM. Those include, for example, driver monitoring that's currently used typically for advanced driver assist systems, but could do things like track whether somebody's actually looking at the road, whether their pupils are dilated, et cetera. We also spelled out technology that has received funding from the federal government called DADS technology. That is actually active technology at this point. It's not passive as the bill requires. So we think there are promising technologies on the market, but I think it's safe to say that we do not think they are available yet in a way that actually will achieve the goals both of the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Vehicle Safety Act. And our ANPRM actually asks a bunch of questions about how we might get there, if we do get there, what problems might arise as a result. We don't, for example, want to have false positives where somebody is detected to have blood in their alcohol in their blood, and in fact does not and can't start their vehicle. If we had a 99.9% effective system, we estimate there's something like 1 billion trips a day. That would leave 1 million people not able to start their vehicle. So we got to get this technology right.
The technology talks about disabling a vehicle possibly in transit. That's very concerning to me if you have a false positive for that.
Yeah, and we do ask questions about that in the ANPRM as well.
Let me just say I had a mentor who told me that hope is not a business plan. And I think that applies here. You know, before seatbelts were mandated, they were an option in cars. Before airbags were mandated, they were an option in cars. And before backup cameras were mandated, they were an option in cars. I think this is one area where Congress is way ahead of in front of its skis. And they've mandated a technology that, I mean, you're being nice about it, but let's just admit to it, it does not exist. If it did, somebody would be offering it in a car. So, my constituents have a lot of concerns about this. It's no secret I tried to defund the mandate recently in a funding bill, and that's because it's just not feasible. As you mentioned, the false positives would far outweigh the advantages. You have a mother who swerves to miss wildlife and then goes around a pothole, then pulls over for an ambulance, and the dashboard is the juror and the executioner and says, get over to the side of the road with your kids and wait there. Now, how do you appeal such a conviction when your car, have you guys thought about that at all?
We do want to get it right, but it is the case that about 1/3 of motor vehicle fatalities involve impairment. So we need to do everything we can to drive those numbers down. We will do so in a way with technology that is fair and works and does not create false positives and addresses the kinds of questions that you're raising.
Let me make a prediction here, right before I yield back. This won't be ready by 2026. Congress has asked the impossible. It's a wish. It's not a plan. And I think it's wrong to put you in a position to try and mandate this. And I yield back.
That would leave 1 million people not able to start their vehicle. So we got to get this technology
the
right.
technology talks about disabling a vehicle possibly in transit. That's very concerning to me if you have a false positive for that.